Okay, so what we have here is a pork tenderloin, store-bought, and it's definitely a cheaper cut than pork chops. But today I'm going to go ahead and I'll make pork chops out of this, and it saves a few dollars. We're going to set that aside because in a later video I'll make some sausages. Now, so I've squared up the end. Now all I want to do is try and make them consistent. So I like them about the width of my knife here, so I'll lay it down and then just flip it up on end, and you have a nice center loin chop. Set the knife down again, turn it up, and cut. So the question you have to ask yourself is, does it make sense to buy the pork loin and take the time to cut it into chops? For me and my family, our answer is yes. Because if I buy the pork chops at the local Costco, they're already too thick, so I end up cutting them down anyways. And I pay, I want to say it's like 30 cents a pound more for the pork chops than it is for the pork tenderloin. It might be 40, but I know it's more. And with the meat, you know, I took the meat this morning, put it in the freezer for a couple hours, and it's nice and cold and stiffened up quite a bit, so it cuts easy. And as you can see, I'm getting nice clean cuts out of that evenly. And for us, this just makes sense. Not for everybody. And the process doesn't take very long. But in my mind, if I'm going to buy pork chops and then cut them anyways, save a couple dollars over the whole thing, and buy them this way, cut them down. I like them about 1 inch, which is about the width of the knife. And we'll just keep going. But get nice consistent pork chops this way, using the knife as a measurement. So that they cook evenly and thaw evenly. Now when packaging, I do things a little differently. I don't package by weight. I know in my household, we'll eat 4 to possibly 6 of these, depending on how many people are home at the time. And that just leaves us with the 2 ends. I could maybe get one more, but as you can see there's a little bit of gristle in that. So now what I want to do is I want to count. 1, and try and keep them roughly the same size. There's 4. And there's 4 more. 4 more, and then a package of 5. These are a little smaller, so I'm going to put that one with the smaller ones. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit, and I'll be right back when we're set to package. All right, so we have our pork chops cut, and I have 5 stacks And now we have 5 pieces of freezer paper here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our stack of pork chops here. We're going to lay it in the center. And hold the one corner up. The next corner over. Put that in. Okay. And I like to just fold my edges in so there's no paper overhanging. And then we're going to push the air out as much as possible. Just fold that end up. And then a little piece of the freezer tape. Okay. The idea is to wrap them up as tight as you can. And then we are going to make sure you label everything. Today is the 10th. Okay, and we'll set that aside. Now we can go to the next set. This piece of paper is just slightly larger, so I'm going to put the 5 that I have. Okay, so we wrap it over and push it tight. We'll fold the long side over, and then the short side over. We're going to push into the paper as much as we can. Fold that down. There we go. Okay. So make them as good and tight as you can get them. All right, that's 2 done, 2 more to go. I get only 4 packages, I miscounted. So I got 1 turned. The downside of buying the pork loin is they tend to trim the fat cap off. And that's where a lot of your flavor comes from, is that fat cap that's on there. I'd like for that to be a little thicker, but it's not. And we deal with that by using olive oil on them when we either grill them or put them in the pan. So once again, fold over to the top, long side, short side, fold in the edges. Push down and in as we wrap. Okay. That pushes most of the air out and allows for nice tight packaging. Now some people don't like freezer paper because things don't last as long, and the freezer is vacuum sealing. But for us, it doesn't really matter. This won't have to last but maybe a month, and we'll eat these in that month. So the last 4, we're going to stack them. Alright, and while it may not be the prettiest wrapping job, it's not going under your Christmas tree, it's going in your freezer. The big thing is making sure you push as much air out of it as you can, and it's wrapped as tightly as it can be. And then labeling, the two most important parts. So I didn't weigh anything, as you saw in the video. I just know that that's about the size of a pork chop that my family members can eat in one sitting. So I took one pork tenderloin and turned it into 4 packages of pork chops that we will use like that. I don't really take too much time to cook pork tenderloins. They tend to dry out. I like the pork chops because I can put them on the Traeger and grill them. But there you go. That's what you get. This is your final product. I'm gonna go put these in the freezer, and that's how you save a few cents per pound on making your pork chops, if that suits you and your needs. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.